nightmare.
So hello and welcome to Cinema Subculture. I'm Simon.
I'm Gary.
We are currently sitting in Gary's car, heading to Glasgow to see the new film called Under the Skin, directed by Gary.
Jonathan Glazer.
Sure. Now this is a film that was primarily and is largely set in Glasgow, am I right?
Yes, I believe so.
Sorry, we're recording this on an iPhone and I'm having to pass it back and forth so we can get all the audio. Also shot in a small village near where we stay, I believe it was in Cumnock or New Cumnock.
Yeah, that's right, Simon.
Gary's driving. So it's stars Scarlett Johansen and a bunch of other Scottish actors and a lot of members of the public, I believe, who weren't necessarily aware at the time they were being filmed. This film's been quite divisive, I believe, in the kind of reviews it's been getting, Gary. Have you seen anything?
I haven't read any review. I've heard Mark Kermode's review. He said he quite liked it, but he felt it didn't quite work because the whole candid camera thing, you were sort of guessing, is that an actor or is that just someone off the street? He said he found that a bit jarring and kind of took him out of the film a wee bit, but he said it overall was an interesting piece of work. So
sure. I mean, the reviews, I wasn't reading full reviews, but just a kind of a couple of words blurb or whatever, and it was really, really divisive. It was ranging from 5 out of 5 masterpiece right down to 1 or less out of 5 unwatchable, laughably bad. You know what I mean? And not much in between. So I'm quite keen to see it and see what it's all about. I mean, I'm really if I'm honest, I'm really just wanting to go and see the nude scene. That's pretty much it. I'm not gonna lie. What do what's your opinion on that, Gary?
I don't really know much about the nude scene.
Oh, right. Did you know there was a nude scene?
No.
Okay.
Was that in the trailer?
No. But she came out recently and she was doing an article basically defending the nude scene.
All right.
Where apparently the director had said that they wouldn't use it if it didn't work.
Okay.
Which I'm only laughing because that seems like a line, doesn't it? Seems a little you're gonna have Scarlett Johansson in your film, our first nude scene on screen, and you might not use it. So have you've seen a few of this director's films before?
Well, I've seen one. He's made 2. I've seen Sexy Beast, which is great,
Sure.
and I've seen his music videos as well. Which I think he did Street Spirit by Radiohead, but I sometimes get him mixed up with Chris Cunningham. But I think he did some Radiohead videos, maybe Karma Police as well.
He did a Blur video as well, I believe.
Right.
And he also did a film with Nicole Kidman called Birth.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, you've not seen that?
No.
I haven't seen Sexy Beast or Birth. I've seen the music videos.
Right.
If that's the ones he did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm quite interested. When I didn't realise to start with that it was a kind of largely unscripted, candid camera-esque affair. I mean, when I first read about it, kind of reminded me of Julian Donkey Boy a little bit.
Alright.
The kind of the way they go in some scenes and that and into the shop, and the people don't necessarily know the cameras are there and things like that. So I'm quite interested to see how this turns out. As I say, because it's so divisive with between critics and even the general public. I mean, I just don't know what to expect. I don't know what side of the spectrum is going to fall on at all. Okay, so we are now back on the road after having seen Under the Skin. So we'll each give our impressions, and then we'll have a wee discussion about it. We'll go to Gary first because he's driving and get that over with.
Okay. Enjoyed the film. Thought it was very interesting visually. Liked the sparseness, the minimalism, the lack of exposition. I did have a few sort of reservations about the narrative, which is fairly conventional sci-fi ideas about the sort of differences between aliens, robots, and humans, and that kind of investigating the sort of contradictions within that, the humanistic characteristics of the alien or the robotic sort of animal aspects of the humanity. And I thought maybe the conventional nature of that didn't quite match the sort of more interesting visual style. I thought maybe they could have explored the more interesting narrative path, but possibly they were just wanting to do a genre piece and do something really unusual visually and keep it within that sort of genre style. So, yeah.
I mean, I completely agree. I really enjoyed the film. I liked the same things you were saying there about it, like the fact that it was a fairly conventional story. I feel maybe that, as you say, like it was relying on people maybe having knowledge of that kind of conventional story to then not have to give exposition on what was necessarily happening all the way through the film. There's some really striking visuals in it and sound design that really, I thought, really worked well, and when it all came together, it really was working well. And again, like a series of moments that they had, like the opening was really strong, and it was really bleak, and it was really interesting seeing, like, again, we went to see it in Glasgow, filmed largely in Glasgow, so it's really interesting, like walking down the streets that we were just about to see. You know, we were seeing the streets we just walked down in film, and hearing the dialect, you know, within the film was comedic at times, but it was quite interesting. I think overall I did enjoy it. I do have a few problems with it, like there's some characters in it that I don't know how I feel about, and I guess it was, as you say, like it's a fairly traditional story, albeit told in quite an interesting visual way. But yeah, I did enjoy it though. What was it you said Mark Kermode said about it? Sorry.
Well, from what he said, he thought it was he admired it as a film. He didn't feel it worked, it gelled completely. But the main thing I remember from his review was, he said that the fact that you couldn't tell who was the real actor and who was just, say, someone on the street, he found that slightly jarring and pulled it out of the film. But I mean, that's mostly just the first half, so I don't know.
I didn't feel it pulled me. It did the first time you hear the Glaswegian guy get into the car and they're talking, and it maybe pulled me out for a second, just because it was a little more like funny, you know.
Yeah. Maybe if you're not as used to the accents, I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, once I think it was. I mean, I just kind of made up my own mind of what was. You know, I tried to kind of quickly in my own head make up. Okay, I think that's. I was actually doing it, actually watching. You know, I think that's a real person who's then being brought into the production.
Right.
You know, at later scenes in the film, and there was other people that I thought, oh no, that's an actor. I think, you know what I mean. Right. I think it was quite obvious who were the actors and who were the public members of the public. I think. Or again, maybe it's just I made my own mind up about it. You know, I tried to get that over quickly, so I wasn't thinking about that during the scenes. What did you think Johansen's performance?
I was thinking about this during the film. Actually, I was going back and forth. She is a good actress. I like her. I don't know if she was a bit too. She doesn't quite have the what's the word I'm looking for? Finesse, the kind of subtlety to pull off that performance where it's all about just facial expression. You have no dialogue to work with, you have no other actors really to talk to. But I don't know if that's too harsh. I think she's obviously, the way she looks, she has quite a otherworldly, like she's got kind of defined features which make her a bit strange, even though she's like beautiful as well. So maybe it's more important for that. Maybe just that scene, like in the fog, the way she's kind of looked about, I thought you kind of see her like acting a wee bit, but then again, that's the character.
You mean that was sticking out a bit?
It crossed my mind during that scene, but then again, that's the characters like in a strange environment as well. So I don't know.
Yes, it's hard to say. I mean, like, as you're talking there, I'm thinking. I mean, I went to see the new Captain America film like last night, right? So for the second time, and I mean, like, obviously that's not maybe the best use of her acting ability, although I think she was really good in it. There was a lot of scenes in that where it is just her facial expression. There's a couple of really key scenes that I feel, and that I actually thought when I was watching it, I thought that was a really nice decision. Like, it's just a little, like, there's a line in it where basically she's releasing, spoilers, right? She's releasing these secrets onto the web from the antagonist of the film, but it's kind of like putting all her own stuff on there as well. Everything she's ever done. She's like a Russian spy to start off with, but she now works for like the good guys effectively. But this means everyone's going to know everything about her, right? So it's like everything bad thing she's ever done is going to be out there. And the antagonist says something to him, like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And a reply, and there's just a little kind of a wry smirk in there, and it just comes out of nowhere, and it's kind of like, and you're like, "Oh, right, okay, I get where this character's come from." So, and then when you're speaking again, like thinking back to something like Lost in Translation, there's key scenes in that film between her and Bill Murray when, I remember a scene when they're at a party, and they're just like they're watching each other, and so to me she does have that ability to have those subtleties there, and I feel in this film she was going for, like you're saying, it was more the character. It was more of like a kind of, it was almost like robotic, I think, like to start with anyway, because you saw her, I thought you saw her change when she was alone in the van to when she started speaking to the people. There was to me there was a change in her, and I feel it was almost like she was going for that coldness in the character, up to that point. Again, you don't know what is it. Is it maybe the uncomfortableness of the kind of the ad-libbing or the the loose script that maybe leads to maybe it looking a little bit weird, or is it just a decision with the character? It's hard to say. I think she definitely has the chops to pull off some subtlety within her performances. I don't know if that's what this was going for. It's hard to say. I feel like the change in the character from the first half of the film to the second half of the film was a bit jarring for me. I wasn't quite sure what triggered the change, and again, like, the narrative's very loose and it's kind of left to you to get it. But it was hard to spot. It wasn't hard to spot, but you didn't notice till after it happened that it happened.
Right, aye.
To me.
It seems, possibly at that point, like, more exposition might have been useful, because the change is so radical, like, from her demeanour in the first half of the film, that she totally switches, and it's quite a subtle, from what the reasons that I gather are very subtly explored. So I don't know, that might have been an instance where we could have done with something more dramatic there. I don't know.
It's hard to say. I mean, it's almost like her character wakes up from what she's been doing, but there's nothing obvious, I wouldn't say, and unless what they are going for is with the character that she meets. I don't know the actor's name, but unless they are going for, like, oh, this was such a thing that it's changed her, but I don't know, I feel that's a little patronising to the character, I don't know.
That was for me what I gather, but she didn't seem to register it that it didn't seem to have affected her, but it didn't affect her to the point, okay, I'm going to abandon the mission and change my whole perspective.
And the thing was, it didn't seem to be affecting her while she was chatting him up. You know what I mean? It wasn't like she kind of was reacting to the answers he was giving to the questions she was asking, and slowly. And I'm not saying that it doesn't have to be like a subtle change in character, but it didn't seem to be affecting her, and then all of a sudden it did affect her. You know what I mean? It kind of came out of nowhere for me. What do you feel about the second half of the film? I really liked the first half of the film, and I thought it was quite menacing and formulaic to an extent, definitely. But I thought it was quite.
The first half, I didn't really know where it was going.
I just mean it was a repetitive story. Is what I mean. Like, you know what I mean. It kept repeating a cycle.
Right.
And I kind of, once you got kind of to a certain point, you kind of knew what she was doing it for. You know, you kind of got what was happening. She was taking them, and but the second half of the film kind of changed it up quite a bit. So what did you feel about that?
Well, that's kind of what I was saying at the start. It just kind of lapsed into more a conventional genre territory where she's decided, okay, I want to be a human maybe, or I want to experience the material world. I want to eat cake. I want to have sex. I want to walk in the fog, stuff like that.
Can't have your cake and eat it too, Gary.
Well, she finds that out, doesn't she? She can't eat it at all.
No, she doesn't even care where to put it.
No, but maybe she doesn't have a stomach, probably.
That's probably what it is. She doesn't have a lot of things.
Right. So once we got into that, I was like, oh, okay, is this where we're going? It just kind of ultimately rejected that because it doesn't. I thought it might go for like a happy ending, like, because it was treading like the kind of It's a Wonderful Life. You know, like you hate something and then you have a new perspective on it. Think, oh, this is pretty good. Like, I want to live.
I mean, like when we're introduced to the kind of like the only other main protagonist in the film, I guess, like when she meets that guy in the bus stop.
Yeah.
When they got to like his house and stuff, I felt like I was looking for some dialogue there, you know, like I wasn't really sure what they were going for with that. Obviously, it was to be, you know, her exploring her humanity and kind of, instead of like killing or like, you know, like seducing and setting these guys up for whatever, she was actually, you know, cohabiting effectively with this guy for a bit. So it felt like, I don't know, I felt like there should have been more, like, there wasn't much depth there to that relationship.
Right.
You know? It was explored a bit. I mean, I think you got enough to justify where it went, but then it just kind of left it.
Yeah.
You know? So, and then we kind of switched into the kind of last gear of the film, which I felt was building to something, when we've got the kind of the motorbike guys who seem to be like kind of support characters for her, like, you
Possibly,
know.
although he seems to be in control.
Okay, right.
More than to me. So.
I mean, like, kind of they clean up and, you know, they you know, do that kind of stuff, but they seem to be coming after her.
Yeah.
And for a bit it looked as if they were going to like get her while she was with that guy, and then she obviously she goes off herself, and I mean, what do you make of the woodsman guy, the logger?
Yeah. Well, that was kind of, she ultimately finds out that she becomes a victim of the kind of evil side of humanity, whatever. But if that's where they're going, okay, fine. But that was ultimately, it was okay. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Just like 2001 or whatever.
Yeah. As it goes, I'm kind of surprised that there's like so many, like, as I said to you before, I didn't see many middle of the road reviews, you know. It was either like kind of 1 star or 5 star, you know. So I'm kind of surprised there's not more middle of the road, or 3 out of 5, or like people at least. It surprises me that it's so one way or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a lot of people comparing this to, like, well, I saw some claims of he's the new Kubrick and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think this film justifies that quite yet, but
yeah, there is kind of parallels in the sense that it's quite cold.
Yeah.
There's not really emotion to it. Can't really get invested in the characters. And then I think a lot of the visuals do reference 2001.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And the music as well, especially the very open, and the very first like scene, with the lens flares, that and the eye and things. I thought were very kind of 2001-esque.
Yeah.
So There was something else I was going to say. So, the scene near the end, well, yeah, like kind of with her character and the guy that she befriends when they're at the kind of castle.
Okay.
Like, why can't she walk down the steps?
Well, the practical reason might be she's got like high heeled boots on.
Okay.
Or she's never experienced height.
Right.
Like material height, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's never been in a castle. She's never walked upstairs really.
No, it didn't. No, it seemed a little weird. I wasn't sure if they were implying that she was, whatever her alien form was degenerating or something.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, possibly.
it was breaking down. But I don't know. Definitely a discussion provoker of a film. You know, it's. I can see why it's divided. As I said, I don't know. I thought there would be more middle of the kind of road, as I say, reviews, but
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's not a mainstream film because the kind of the harshness of it, the minimalism, will turn people off.
Definitely.
Most people off.
Do you think there was some people walking out?
I saw a couple. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were walking out or what, but like, they seem to be leaving it random. Not random, but like to me, like when she got to that guy's house and he made her like food. Yeah, and oh no, it was the bit where she gets served the cake.
Right. Okay.
And like some guy, I can't imagine that's I've fucking heard this.
Right.
Cake, you know, it just seemed like an odd bit to walk out. You know, it was obviously a transitional scene where like something might happen, you know, next, and it just seemed like that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I saw some which looked like kind of older people leaving just before she took the kind of final character into the house.
Right.
I wasn't sure how much of a statement that was on themselves.
Right.
You know, like it seemed a bit weird to me. I don't know to leave at that point.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
What character the
last guy, the guy with the
yeah.
with the deformed face, I guess. You'd say.
Yeah. I don't know.
It just is. Again, it was like kind of I'm not fucking watching this. You know, that was what it felt like, and I just thought, you've managed to sit through this before, so what makes it different about, you know, it seemed a bit weird. I don't know. To me it felt a little kind of like, for fuck's sake, sit down. Your bus will not be here yet, you know. So the other scene I wanted to talk about was the beach scene when you know, that felt a little out of place.
Oh yeah?
No?
What do you mean?
I don't know, it kind of came out of nowhere, and the family, you know, like drowning effectively. I don't know. It just seemed a little odd.
I guess I took from that it was about kind of the weakness of humanity against the elements or whatever, and the fact it was there, it was able to express the coolness of the character.
I guess.
How she doesn't give a fuck about the baby and all that.
Which again, like, just it kind of flies in the face of what happens eventually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because it does feel like
Possibly,
a complete switch.
Yeah, possibly it's does have an effect and it builds to later, because the crying baby is a recurring.
Yeah, I guess so maybe that's a callback. Maybe it's just the way she chooses to play it, that, you know, she doesn't really, it's not really showing externally.
Yeah.
You know, but definitely when I want to see it again. Yourself?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely worth a watch. Alright, so we'll wrap that up for this episode. This would be episode, 31, I guess?
If this is an episode.
Yeah, this is a fucking episode, Gary. So, normal transmission will resume after this episode. I thought we'd say if this works out, yay!
Something we could do in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I've thought about it before when we've been going to see, you know, a film. I thought it's kind of a waste of a conversation. Sure. You know, if we're talking about it anyway.
Yeah, because it's cold.
Yeah, well, it's not your attractive English girls or your attractive Scottish girls. You know what I mean? There's nothing like that, Gary. But it's good, you know.
Got to tape that.
Oh,
shit.
sure. So, hopefully this all works out and you'll be hearing this. And as I say, we'll see you in episode 32, which will still be Crash. David Cronenberg's Crash. Cool. All right. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye.
It was a nightmare.